Megyn Kelly's latest public appearance has ignited a buzz across social media, news outlets, and water cooler conversations alike. The seasoned broadcaster, once known for her signature sharp suits and unflappable poise behind the anchor desk, emerged this week with a striking new look that left viewers doing double takes. At 54, Kelly's transformation isn't merely a cosmetic facelift or a wardrobe overhaul. It signals a deeper evolution in her personal narrative and career trajectory. Questions swirl. What catalyzed this makeover? How does it reflect her shifting priorities? And what does it reveal about the media veteran's plans for the next chapter? The metamorphosis began subtly when Kelly teased a travel special on Instagram, posing against a desert backdrop in flowing bohemian attire, silk prints, earthy tones, and tousled waves dramatically different from her usual tailored ensembles. Followers noticed the change instantly: softer styling, warmer hues, and a relaxed confidence that contrasted her earlier on-air persona. Within days, paparazzi captured her stepping out of a West Hollywood salon, sporting an almost unrecognizable platinum balayage and delicate contouring that enhanced her cheekbones. Makeup artists praised the fresh palette of neutral eyeshadows and nude lip tones, crediting a minimalist aesthetic that highlights Kelly's natural features rather than refreshing them with heavy layers. These outward shifts carry an undercurrent of reinvention. Sources close to Kelly reveal she embarked on a 6-month wellness and self-care regimen, blending Pilates, mindfulness coaching, and nutritional guidance to support both physical vitality and emotional balance. She no longer confines herself to high-pressure studio schedules. Instead, she schedules breaks to unplug in nature retreats and art residencies, allowing her creativity to flourish off camera. Friends describe her as more present than ever, prioritizing quality time with family and cultivating new hobbies, pottery, digital painting, and acoustic guitar lessons that nourish her inner life. Professionally, the timing is significant. Kelly recently signed a multi-platform deal to develop lifestyle and investigative series for streaming networks, positioning her as both host and executive producer. The refreshed look coincides with a rebranding effort. No longer just a political pundit or legal analyst, she's embracing broader lifestyle storytelling that blends hard-hitting interviews with cultural exploration. Industry insiders note that networks crave personalities who can pivot seamlessly across genres, and Kelly's transformation signals readiness to tackle cooking explorations in Tuscany as easily as border security debates on Capitol Hill. Yet behind the spotlight shimmer lies a more personal motivation. In exclusive conversations, Kelly has spoken about reclaiming ownership of her image, resisting pundits who frame her appearance choices as distractions rather than expressions of self-determination. She framed the change as an act of defiance. "I spent years being boxed into a role. Now I shape my own narrative," she told a lifestyle magazine. This sentiment resonates with a generation of women redefining midlife transitions on their own terms rather than deferring to industry expectations. The ripple effect has been immediate. Advertisers have lauded Kelly's fresh positioning as an opportunity to tap a demographic hungry for authenticity and reinvention. Social platforms brim with hashtags like #KellyReimagined and #MidlifeUnscripted, as fans share before and after collages and celebrate her willingness to evolve. Critics, too, have weighed in. Some question whether this makeover masks substantive change, while others applaud her boldness, noting that true transformation must start from within before radiating outward. The response to Megyn's new image has been as multifaceted as her career itself, with every corner of the media landscape weighing in on what it means for her future. Longtime colleagues congratulate her on the courage it takes to reinvent a public persona, especially after roles defined by tight tailoring and hard-hitting interviews. Megyn's pivot shows a fearless commitment to growth, a former producer tells me. Yet some pundits wonder whether her softer aesthetic will dilute the authority she established in high-stakes debates. They question if audiences tuning in for incisive political analysis will follow her into travelogue segments or cooking explorations. This tension underscores a key challenge: balancing the expectations of a fiercely loyal core audience with the need to attract curious new viewers eager for authenticity. Social media metrics already reflect the buzz. Hashtags like #KellyUnfiltered trend whenever she posts a sunlit selfie mid-yoga, while hashtag Old Megyn resurfaces whenever she returns to the studio in business attire. Engagement rates on her Instagram stories average 3 times higher than before, suggesting that audiences crave this behind-the-scenes intimacy. On Twitter, her follower count has climbed steadily since the initial makeover photos dropped, indicating that even those who resisted earlier shifts now can't help but watch the transformation. Streaming platforms report spike previews for her upcoming series. In 1 week, search queries for her name increased by 40% across lifestyle and news categories. Behind the scenes, Kelly assembled a new creative team attuned to multi-genre production. Former news bookers now collaborate with travel writers and culinary consultants to craft episodes that blend investigative rigor with cultural immersion. A network executive describes her development meetings as electric. Megyn arrives with well-researched dossiers on each region she'll visit, from local dialects to environmental challenges, ensuring that no segment comes off as a superficial travelogue. This fusion of journalistic discipline and lifestyle sensibility reflects the deeper purpose she articulated when unveiling her new vision. To tell stories with nuance, compassion, and context, her approach extends to sponsorships as well. Instead of traditional endorsements, Kelly negotiates partnerships that align with her values. An eco-luxury resort chain signed on only after she stipulated carbon offset measures and support for local communities. A skincare line she now champions had to guarantee cruelty-free ingredients and transparent supply chains. Advertisers applaud this authenticity, noting that modern consumers, especially those in the coveted 35 to 54 demographic, respond more favorably to brands endorsed by figures who demonstrate genuine alignment between word and deed. Critically, Kelly's transformation isn't confined to aesthetics or programming. She credits a deeper personal evolution to periods of introspection during the pandemic. Isolated at her New Hampshire farmhouse, she journaled extensively, explored mindfulness practices, and confronted the burnout she'd long dismissed as part of the job. I realized that to lead conversations in the world, I needed to find peace within myself first, she confided. That internal work now surfaces in interviews, where she speaks candidly about vulnerability, mental health, and the pressures of navigating a polarized media environment. This emotional honesty amplifies her relatability and distinguishes her from peers who maintain invulnerable facades. As Kelly prepares to launch her first lifestyle investigative hybrid series, the stakes could not be higher. Early focus group viewers praise her ability to pivot from hard-hitting questions to genuine wonder in moments of cultural discovery. They describe feeling seen and respected, whether she's pressing a policymaker on ethics or savoring a local delicacy in a hidden mountain village. In an era of fractured media loyalties, Megyn Kelly's transformation offers a possible blueprint. Evolve boldly, remain principled, and meet audiences where they are, ready to listen, learn, and share the journey. In the pilot episode of her new series, Kelly ventures into the heart of Oaxaca's mezcal culture, blending her trademark incisive questioning with genuine curiosity. She interviews a third-generation mezcalero about ancestral distilling methods, then rolls up her sleeves in an open-air palenque, learning to roast agave hearts over wood fires. Viewers see her transition seamlessly from high-stakes interviews, probing the master distiller on environmental impacts, to lighthearted moments, laughing as her hair catches faint wisps of smoke. That balance of rigor and warmth exemplifies her transformation. No longer an impenetrable pundit, but an engaged storyteller who honors tradition while challenging assumptions. Back in the studio, each episode features a truth check segment where Megyn revisits a cultural practice or political claim she encountered on location and applies journalistic fact-finding. For example, she might explore a rural community's claim that droughts increased due to global warming, then convene climatologists over video conference to break down data. This hybrid format underscores her evolution. She's not abandoning investigative reporting, but reframing it in real-world contexts that resonate with broader audiences. Critics who feared a dilution of her edge now concede that these segments retain her trademark tenacity, even as she presents findings with a more conversational tone. Industry reactions to these pilot episodes have been largely positive. A respected media analyst praised Kelly for raising the bar on hybrid programming. noting that her series achieved a rare synthesis of depth and accessibility. Streaming platforms report that viewers consistently watch through commercial breaks, and in some markets, the show's audience skews younger than traditional news programs, suggesting her reinvention appeals across generational lines. At the same time, loyal followers of her earlier work remain engaged, tuning in to see how she applies the same probing style to unfamiliar subjects. From Moroccan leather artisans to Icelandic geothermal engineers, behind the camera, Kelly's hands-on approach to production continues to surprise colleagues accustomed to star talent who stay in dressing rooms. She reviews every segment script, contributes historical research, and even suggests on-the-ground safety protocols in remote locations. Producers say her attention to detail and insistence on cultural sensitivity has saved entire scenes from potential ethical missteps, such as accidentally depicting a sacred ritual without permission. This blend of journalistic responsibility and lifestyle exploration has become her signature, reinforcing the authenticity she promised when unveiling her makeover. Yet no transformation is without controversy. Some conservative viewers lament her softer styling and question whether she'll maintain her willingness to challenge political figures. In response, Kelly re-aired a clip of her confronting a government minister in Chile over labor rights, reminding critics that she remains unafraid to press matters of power and policy. That moment went viral, with hashtags like #MegynStillFights and #KellyAcrossBorders trending on X, illustrating that her credibility in tough interviews remains intact despite aesthetic changes. As the series progresses into its first season, Kelly is already planning thematic deep dives, episodes focused on refugee integration, sustainable fashion, and the future of space tourism, each framed by on-site reporting and personal reflection. By designing a format that accommodates both investigative segments and immersive cultural experiences, she cements her role as a versatile host who transcends genre boundaries. This adaptability, coupled with her refreshed image and authentic voice, ensures she remains a formidable presence in an ever-evolving media landscape. As Megyn Kelly's reinvention gains momentum, the broader media ecosystem is taking notice and taking notes. Talent agencies report an uptick in host applications seeking similar hybrid roles, combining journalistic credibility with immersive storytelling. In boardrooms, executives draft new development outlines for veteran anchors with crossover potential. They cite Kelly's seamless pivot from hard news to heartfelt exploration as evidence that audiences crave hosts who can both interrogate and empathize. Her success suggests a redefinition of on-air talent, no longer purely subject matter experts, but versatile cultural navigators who guide viewers through complex global narratives. Advertisers are likewise recalibrating their strategies around Kelly's evolving brand. High-end travel companies now bid aggressively for sponsorship slots in her series, recognizing that her demographic, affluent, curious, and digitally engaged, mirrors their ideal customer profile. Luxury automotive brands express interest in co-branded featurettes that integrate her polished on-screen presence with authentic road trip insights. Even streaming services are structuring tiered ad packages around her episodes, bundling pre-roll sponsorships with mid-show, Kelly-curated segments that spotlight eco-conscious products handpicked by her. This synergy between content and commerce underscores the economic power of a well-executed transformation. That on the editorial front, Kelly's team has formalized a research division dedicated to cultural, geopolitical, and environmental intelligence. This unit supplies field producers with background briefings, ethical guidelines, and archaeological or anthropological context, ensuring each location segment meets rigorous standards. For instance, when filming in Peru's Sacred Valley, the team consulted UNESCO experts to avoid disrupting local customs. These behind-the-scenes protocols not only elevate segment quality, but also reinforce Kelly's commitment to responsible storytelling, an essential pillar of her refreshed identity. Viewership data further illuminates her impact. Nielsen reports indicate that Kelly's series consistently outperforms comparable snapshot travel or news programs in key markets, with an average 25% increase in time spent viewing. More impressively, retention rates among female viewers aged 35 to 49 exceed 80%, suggesting that they find resonance in her nuanced approach to topics ranging from artisanal craftsmanship to municipal politics. Streaming analytics show a strong completion rate for episodes, even those running beyond the industry standard 45-minute mark, proving that depth doesn't deter modern audiences when the host's authenticity shines through. Yet, as with any high-profile transformation, risks remain. Critics point to the possibility of genre drift, where an overextended focus on lifestyle could dilute her investigative edge. To guard against this, Kelly's producers have instituted a content charter. Every episode must include at least 2 segments centered on journalistic inquiry, whether fact checks, policy interviews, or data-driven analyses, alongside cultural immersion. This editorial guardrail maintains the rigorous standards that built her reputation while allowing for the creative freedom she now embraces. Moreover, Kelly's reinvention has sparked conversations about on-air representation. Her shift highlights the industry's need for more midlife voices that defy ageist stereotypes. Producers note increased interest from networks to develop series hosted by women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond, talent whose life experience adds credibility and relatability. In this sense, Kelly's transformation transcends her personal brand, catalyzing structural change in how media companies perceive and promote seasoned professionals. Her transformation isn't only about new styling or programming. It's deeply rooted in personal growth and a renewed sense of purpose. Throughout this journey, Kelly has been transparent about confronting burnout and reclaiming agency over her life. She's spoken openly about leaning on therapy and coaching to navigate the pressure of constant public scrutiny, and her willingness to share lessons learned resonates with viewers who feel similarly overwhelmed. Fans send messages describing how her candid reflections have inspired them to seek help, set boundaries at work, or finally take that long-postponed creative class. In many ways, Kelly's reinvention functions as a mirror for viewers wrestling with midlife transitions, career pivots, and the quest for authenticity. Beyond the camera, she's invested in cultivating communities of support. Kelly launched an online forum where aspiring storytellers, journalists, and content creators can share projects, receive feedback, and learn about ethical reporting practices. Moderators, many drawn from her own production team, host weekly discussions on everything from interviewing techniques to self-care routines for high-stress jobs. Early participants praised the space for its openness and Kelly's occasional surprise drop-ins, where she comments on scripts or offers insights without grandstanding. Her presence in the forum underscores that transformation isn't a solo act, but a collective endeavor built on shared experiences. Meanwhile, her commitment to mental wellness extends to on-set practices. Crew members note that during her location shoots, she mandates regular check-ins, designated downtime, and mental health resources for every team member. When thunderstorms grounded a shoot in Patagonia, she organized guided group meditations instead of allowing tension to build. These measures have fostered loyalty among colleagues, many of whom now insist on similar policies elsewhere, citing Kelly's practices as the new standard for humane production environments. At home, Kelly's family life has become a nurturing counterpoint to professional reinvention. Between shoots, she spends weekends at her New Hampshire farmhouse, tending a vegetable garden with her children and husband. She shared footage of homemade pie fillings and late-night book discussions by the wood stove, moments that underscore how her public evolution springs from private roots. Viewers respond to these glimpses with surprise and warmth, appreciating that a major media personality still finds meaning in simple family rituals, yet challenges persist. Critics question whether she can sustain her new image without reverting to familiar patterns of controversy. Kelly addresses these concerns head-on, acknowledging that reinvention is an ongoing process. She's committed to quarterly check-ins with her creative and mental health teams to assess whether her work aligns with her values and to recalibrate when drift looms. This structured approach demonstrates that transformation isn't a one-time facelift, but a disciplined practice requiring honesty, feedback, and course correction. Looking ahead, Kelly is developing a series of masterclasses on conscious storytelling, slated to launch on her website early next year. These digital courses will cover interviewing ethics, cultural sensitivity, and mindful production planning, complete with downloadable guides and resource lists. Proceeds will underwrite scholarships for students from underrepresented backgrounds pursuing journalism degrees. By channeling her experience into education, Kelly cements her transformation as one that uplifts others, not just herself. Her metamorphosis isn't about shedding an old skin. It's about integrating hard-earned wisdom into every aspect of her work and life. In doing so, she offers viewers a compelling example of how to pivot with purpose, challenge expectations, and forge a path that honors both professional rigor and personal well-being. Now that Megyn Kelly's reinvention is fully underway, it offers a blueprint for how personal courage and professional discipline can reshape not just a career, but an entire industry. By confronting burnout, carving out time for therapy and mindfulness, and embracing the vulnerability she once resisted, Kelly ignited a transformation that radiates far beyond wardrobe changes or new program formats. Her journey proves that authentic self-renewal begins within and then extends outward to inspire others. Across social media platforms, thousands of viewers have shared stories of how Kelly's openness prompted them to pursue long-postponed goals, enrolling in creative classes, setting firmer boundaries at work, and seeking professional support for mental health struggles. Comments like, "You gave me permission to evolve," and "Watching you change gave me hope to change" flood her posts, underscoring how sharing personal growth can catalyze collective empowerment. This virtual community, bonded by shared vulnerability, reflects the true power of Kelly's example that on the production front, her influence has sparked lasting reforms. Networks now allocate budget lines for on-set wellness coaches, mandatory rest breaks, and cultural sensitivity briefings, practices Kelly pioneered on her location shoots. Crew members recount group meditation sessions between takes and open forums to address emotional well-being during high-pressure days. These humane workflows, once rare in the fast-paced world of television, are rapidly becoming industry standards, proving that empathy and excellence can coexist. Advertisers have followed suit, forging partnerships that align with Kelly's values rather than relying solely on her star power. Responsible travel brands, sustainable fashion lines, and mental wellness apps have signed on to sponsor her series under strict criteria for ethical practices. In return, these companies tap into her engaged, loyal audience, viewers who trust that Kelly's endorsements are genuine. Streaming platforms, noting her high completion rates and cross-generational appeal, now prioritize similar hybrid content that blends investigation with cultural immersion. Critics who once questioned whether softening her on-screen persona would dilute her edge now concede that Kelly's hybrid format preserves her trademark tenacity. Each episode weaves rigorous investigative segments, policy deep dives, data-driven fact checks, with authentic cultural explorations. Nielsen and streaming analytics show retention rates exceeding 80% among women aged 35 to 55, a demographic that craves both depth and warmth. Her evolution has unlocked new viewership while retaining her core fans. Perhaps Kelly's most enduring legacy will be the doors she has opened for mid-career professionals. Talent agencies now pitch hybrid shows led by hosts in their 40s and 50s, recognizing that life experience enhances credibility. Workshops and conferences feature panels on creative reinvention, mental health at work, and ethical storytelling, topics Kelly has made mainstream. By modeling how to balance authenticity with rigor, she has rewritten the playbook for sustainable, purpose-driven media careers. As camera's role on her next voyages, whether shining light on sustainable fisheries or exploring digital art collectives. Megyn Kelly's metamorphosis continues to stir conversation, challenge assumptions, and inspire countless individuals to chart their own transformations. Her story invites us all to pause, reflect, and ask, what chapter in my life needs a bold rewrite? In answering that question, we carry forward her most powerful legacy: the courage to evolve, the discipline to sustain change, and the authenticity to share our true selves with the world.